Hello, and welcome back to another Filmfaker's commentary with your friends at Superliminal Films. Why am I talking first? Because this was my idea, and this usually doesn't happen. But I'm not alone. I also have...
Max, who is here because Jared had this idea.
Yes. So, in our endeavor to always make sure we have content, we want to make sure we record ones whenever possible, and I just was like, we have to do one now. And Max was like, find one that's a free movie. And I found one that I watched 11 years ago when we all watched 365 movies.
Yeah.
And this one was one of the more out there choices that I had. From the title, you probably have no idea what you just clicked on. But this is an Abbott and Costello movie from 1949. And if you don't know who Abbott and Costello are, shame on you.
Yeah, seriously.
And if you do know who they are, and you know this movie, leave a comment below and surprise the hell out of us.
That's right. Yeah, full disclosure, these Filmfakers commentaries are a lot of fun to make, and it's fun to review the scenes. They're also not terribly taxing to make from like an editing and post kind of perspective. But what is taxing about them is that we have to fight very, very hard with the people who have the rights to these movies, because while we are using them in a way that is defined by the copyright laws as fair use, you have to do a lot of proving to the entities who own these particular films that you are in fact using their IPs in a fair way and not just trying to like, I'm going to upload the movie in 8 parts on YouTube for free. So we have to go through a lot of hoops, which involves waiting for responses from people for a very long time. So occasionally we get to the point where we are completely, we've run out of backlog and we have to, kind of shoot one off on the fly. So if you listen to this and you want to know insider secrets, oftentimes when you see a public domain film go up, it's because we are in a jam and we need to put up one quickly because we're waiting on other fair use stuff to clear.
Absolutely. And there's always so much we can do as far as backlog, because, this isn't all we do. If you haven't seen our other things, go to our website. You'll see we do podcasting, we do other stuff. But here, we're actually here to talk about a movie because this is Filmfaker's commentary.
That's right.
So, I decided to pick a scene in this movie that doesn't require any dialogue to be heard. So, we're going to load it up. Since it's available free on YouTube, you can actually go and see this for yourself with audio, because it's really funny, because Lou Costello is one of the best, physical actors for his time, and just that, he can portray a lot with just a little bit of noise and a lot of hand motion, and just he's frenzied faces.
Fantastic physical presence. And then a few years later it would be Jackie Gleason, who was the big guy who was a fantastic physical comedian. And then of course there was Laurel and Hardy, and these guys, just you find a good physical force, and I mean you're about to see that on full display because this is quite a spectacle.
It is. And I would say as another parallel, a few years later, I think the David Spade, Chris Farley were kind of in that for a little while. Because Chris Farley, big guy who could do a lot of physical comedy, and then David Spade's just a straight guy.
Yeah, a lot of years later.
A few years is as many as you want that to be.
A few decades.
That's true. All right, so we've queued it up to the 33:50 mark of the movie on the YouTube, and it's going to be just a couple minutes, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now.
All right, getting the fade into this scene, and they're all I believe the quick synopsis of this movie is that Abbott and Costello go out on expedition and get mistaken for experts in the field of expeditions. Yep,
they work in a bookstore, and they're mistaken for people who actually know a lot about the books and a map that was written about. They were believed to have known what the map was and how to read it and where to go for it. So they get drug along onto this expedition into the heart of Africa, and as you see here, of course, Africa has gorillas, even though they look like people in costumes. But you'll see here just, Costello's just doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff, barely looking at what he's doing, but it's all looks very choreographed, but it does it so quickly. You're just like, it looks like it's
this
improv.
Is not sped up.
No. It looks improv at the same time as looking completely choreographed, and it's amazing. And then he stabbed himself in the eye. It's just so much fun to watch him work.
It's great because, I mean, there's nothing going on here. Like, we're looking at 4 different shots total in this whole scene.
Yep.
And
one thing about this movie is that there's barely any camera movement, like a slight sway in the camera, but everything's like tripod, everything's like Steadicam. Nothing about this is any kind of action because it was a comedy movie. They just point and shoot.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing so much in front of the camera that I don't think you need much. Any camera work here would distract from his performance, so.
Absolutely.
It's great. He finally just gives up and throws the thing at him.
Yeah, but he's still unable to talk because he decided to put a mouthful of food in and then start talking.
Right.
Finally starts to try to convince Abbott, whose character name I can't remember. It's like, hey, did you see that? No, because it left. So, of course. But,
no one believes him.
He's just doing his best to, like, all right, we'll protect ourselves, and that's it.
It's
so
brief but fantastic. I mean, it just doesn't get much better in the realm of physical comedy than these two.
Yeah, so again, if you haven't seen any of their movies, this one's free on YouTube because it's in the public domain, and they may have a few others because a lot of their stuff was in this era. But definitely check out, some of the other things, like all the Abbott and Costello meets, like Dracula and Frankenstein and the werewolf.
Oh, it's so good.
And of course, a lot of people do know the Who's on First thing, but if you've only seen that spoofed and not actually them performing it, it's a delight.
Absolutely. And while you're checking stuff out on the interwebs, you should absolutely hit that subscribe button if you're watching this and listening to this. YouTube is changing all of their policies for how YouTube Partner Program works, which means that we are going to lose, not that we make any money on these videos, but the main thing we're going to lose is access to features that let you get around and connect to all of our sites and things with the ease of a click. And we know that people don't like to take the time to do more than one click, so we don't want to lose those features. So if you can hit that subscribe button under the video, you would be doing us insane amounts of good actual work and save all of our audience the time of having to, I don't feel like typing in their URL. I just wanted to click that button that comes up after the video. We're not going to have that. So we really need your help to make sure all those things stay in place and so that you can check out all of our entertainment across all of our different platforms.
Absolutely. We do our best to keep everything coming out, like 2 to 3 things a week. And, it's with the support of people saying, hey, you did a great job. Because we don't make any money. All we do is make people happy. And that's all we're trying to do.
So let us make you happy.